Hey, this is Matt. Once again, we're about to another video, and this is a paid request for Kevin. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requests in any type of videos, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. Now, this is a bit of a different, well, not different, but interesting versus because it's two James Bond films directed by the same guy, Martin Campbell. And I guess in a way you could kind of call either one a reboot, although technically GoldenEye is related to the other films, but it still felt like a reboot in this. Number one, because he had to do Bond. Number two, because it had been so many years since a previous Bond film. But Casino Royale you would actually call a reboot. Some would not call GoldenEye that, but either way, they're both James Bond films I enjoy. They're both James Bond films that I think are entertaining. They have good leads. Pierce Brosnan, Daniel Craig. I think both do a great job in their different type of Bond roles. Either one is a good choice. To me, there's no bad choice between these two. And real quickly with James Bond, I mean, I didn't grow with Bond as much as other people when I was a kid or a teenager. To be honest, the only ones I saw at that time period was the Pierce Brosnan movies. GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, World Is Not Enough, Die Another Day, which I love the first two, don't really like the other two. Tomorrow Never Dies I think is underrated. GoldenEye, I think I've said is my favorite Bond film. It's at least up there in my top three. But GoldenEye was the first one I saw, so it's definitely the most nostalgic. So you just say, at the end of the day, why am I picking GoldenEye? Sure, you chalk up to nostalgia, but I really do like GoldenEye. And don't get me wrong, Casino Royale is a good movie. I think Skyfall is better. Spectre, Quantum of Solace I don't hate, but I like that it's kind of a very fast-paced movie. It's a fairly short film, but the action's a bit too shaky. The story, you know, it's funny, I've seen that film a number of times. I still don't remember what the story is. But it does have some, I think the whole sequence in that kind of hotel in the middle of nowhere in the desert or whatever, and everything's blowing up, I still think that's a pretty insane set piece for the finale of Quantum of Solace. No Time to Die, I still think is the worst James Bond film I've seen. It was such a stupid fucking ending. Or an ending that I did not find satisfying at all, I'll put it that way. But when I look at GoldenEye versus Casino Royale, and I look at aspects of each one, GoldenEye, I prefer the pacing. I do think, for me, it feels like a faster paced movie. Casino Royale I like, but one of the few problems I have with it is when they get into whole card playing stuff, I think the film slows down a bit. That granted, I think technically it's maybe 10-15 minutes longer than GoldenEye, but it feels longer, much more longer than GoldenEye. I don't know if that makes sense, but I do think when it's all the card game stuff, it does slow down a bit. And I know when I get to kind of the middle portion of Casino Royale, I get a bit antsy. Because you have like a cool opening that's in black and white, then you have the whole insane set piece with the parkour stuff and the construction area. It's such a hell of a way to open your film. And then doesn't feel like a whole lot happens for a while except him in love with this girl Vesper and the card game. It just felt like more was happening in GoldenEye, at least to me. Now, Daniel Craig does a good job with how serious he takes the role, how dangerous James Bond is. So what he's told to do, he does a wonderful job. But Pierce Brosnan has always been my favorite Bond film. Granted, he was the first one I saw, so again, chalk it up to nostalgia. But I think Pierce does have that seriousness, but he also has a bit of charisma and a bit of humor. See, I think Pierce has a bit of that charisma Sean Connery had. He had a little bit of that humor Roger Moore had. But he also has moments of seriousness like Timothy Dalton or Daniel Craig. I just think Pierce Brosnan has all that stuff combined. And I wish World Is Not Enough and Die Another Day were better. Because I think there was at one point Tarantino wanted to do a Casino Royale or something. Some other movie with Bond with Pierce Brosnan. That would have been really cool to see. I know once in a while they throw out the idea of Pierce Brosnan coming back for one more Bond movie. I mean, if it's like Sean Connery and The Rock, which some of us do think that's a Bond film, I mean, that would be cool, but you'd have to have good people, good directors, good folks behind it. If you had like a good director behind it, then I would be open to it. I actually would, because I like Pierce. So again, I like Daniel Craig, but I do prefer Pierce Brosnan. The opening of the film, I did. Casino was great. For what tone you're looking for. If you're looking for a dead serious tone, Casino Royale is going to be more kind of like Batman Begins, Batman, that type of tone. I don't mind that for Bond. And you have again, his 007 license, killing the guy in the bathroom, feeling a bit more brutal of a fight, the black and white look of it. And then a bit later you have the whole parkour, which is an insane action scene. It's a great action bit. But I'm not going to include that for the opening. The opening to me is the black and white. It's cool for what it tells of the story, for what it tells of Daniel Craig. But I mean, I prefer the classic Bond opening, like in GoldenEye, where you have him and Sean Bean as the dam, and he shoots the barrels, and the wide shot with the barrels fall down on the bad guys. Machine gun fun. He's shooting guys off of motorcycles. He skydives to the plane, and he pulls up. It's like this bigger than life. Which, that's just what I prefer with James Bond. It's based on preference. The Spy Who Loved Me. What was that? Goldfinger, GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies. Casino Royale's opening worked for what they were doing, because they had to get away from how ridiculous and stupid and silly Die Another Day was. Kind of like how Batman Begins needed to get away from the ridiculousness of Batman and Robin. So we need to have a full shift to get people's mindset away from that past and here to the present. But I do find the opening, it's meant to be more fun, thus it is more fun, and that's why I prefer is more fun, and it's the GoldenEye opening. Even the songs. I know a lot of people love You Know My Name by Chris Cornell. It's fine, but I do prefer Tina Turner. GoldenEye. Ba-da-doo-doo-doo-doo. Like, granted, my favorite is Nobody Does It Better from The Spy Who Loved Me. And You Know My Name is one of the better, newer songs. I mean, better than No Time to Die's theme. I don't even remember what the hell Spectre's theme was. Or even Casino Royale. Quantum of Solace's theme. So You Know My Name is probably the most famous of the Daniel Craig stuff. Although I don't remember... I remember not minding the theme to Skyfall. Could be wrong on that. At least it's been a while since I've seen those James Bond films, to be honest. But I always liked Tina Turner's theme song. And even like the supporting cast, while the supporting cast is nice in Casino Royale, I do think the love interest is better Casino Royale. I give you that. Ava Green, the character of Vesper, they do a nice job establishing, kind of like under Majesty's Secret Service, is probably one of the stronger Bond films in terms of love story, in terms of seeing how Bond really cares for this person and the tragedy of it all. That I could say Casino Royale did better. Because the love and the girl that Bond's protecting in GoldenEye, I barely remember her. Not that she did a bad job, but I can't even tell you her name. But the supporting cast, I do actually prefer GoldenEye because I like Joe Don Baker. May he rest in peace. I like Famke Johnson. Always liked her. She was in Deep Rising. She was in House on Haunted Hill remake as this lady that will squeeze you to death with her legs. I like Robbie Coltrane. May he rest in peace. I like Desmond Llewellyn as Q. May he rest in peace. It was cool to see Desmond Llewellyn there. It's hard to, the classic Q. Of course, both had Judi Dench. But like Judi Dench and Pierce's, it felt like kind of maybe like a boss friend, while in Daniel Craig it was like a stern mother. So I guess it depends which you prefer, which type of Judi Dench you prefer. And so I do like the supporting cast more. I like the lines of dialogue more. I mean, Casino Royale, I don't mind the line when he's being tortured and about itching my balls, something like that. But I more of the classic Bond lines you have in GoldenEye for me. No more foreplay, or why you just be a good boy and die, you first. For country, Bond, for country, James, for me. There's the line he has when Dr. Johnson gets killed, and something about a tight squeeze or something. It just felt more like the Bond. It's just what I prefer. Especially now that I've seen all the Bond films, and realizing my preference, the more classic Bond, I would say I prefer that tone. And the set pieces, the parkour chase is fantastic at Casino Royale. You could easily make the argument that's the best of any of the action in both movies, because just how intricate and how choreographed it is, and just how much time must have taken with it. So if you're asking like the best action scene of both films, you could argue the parkour scene again in Casino Royale. But for consistent action, while I do like the bit at the end with the house that was sinking down, consistency, I like the action in GoldenEye more. I like the opening. I like that he shoots down a helicopter when dealing with Famke Johnson. There's a bit where he's protecting a girl, a machine gun play, using the AK-47, whatever it is, killing the bad guys. I love the fact that he drives a fucking tank, and is driving a tank throughout the fucking city and throughout the streets. That's such fucking badass. That's always one of the images I remember, is him driving a fucking tank around the streets. So he's driving tanks, he's shooting down helicopters, he's skydiving into planes. I even like the ending where it's more like the satellite. It's an interesting... Although, to be fair, choreography-wise, stunt-wise, I would give it to the house sinking bit in. So maybe I would kind of... For me, maybe it's kind of even on that. Because I think there's more action in GoldenEye. That's what it feels like to me. Casino has fewer, it feels like, but the few that are there, they really stand out. The ending with the house singing, the parkour stuff. It's just as a longer film, I think there seems to be more slow spots and more, kind of dead spots throughout it. So I feel like GoldenEye has more action, and I think they're consistently good. While there's not as much action, but there's some really nice standouts there. So I think I have a feeling if I ask people, they would prefer Casino Royale's action, but I like both. I do like both of them. But again, because there's feels like there's more, I like the stuff with GoldenEye. I would pick if I had to. And GoldenEye, for some reason, gets like a bad rap nowadays. I don't understand. I see like people talk about Bond films, or they give these lists of Bond, and they like put a lot lower than you would think, and it's not as good as people remember, or it's not as good as people say it is, or it doesn't hold up. And I'm like, even Sean Bean, I probably say I like more as a villain, because I like that he was another Bond agent. Like he was a double O agent, but he turned. I just think, just acting wise, he has a little bit more personality for me. So yeah, I would say overall I like GoldenEye more. I like Casino Royale, but I prefer GoldenEye. So, but I think Mark Hamill did a great job on both of them. They were both hits. They both brought Bond back. Because with GoldenEye, before that, Bond was not really doing that well, or as well as the company hoped it would. You gotta think. See, The Spy Who Loved Me was a hit, and I really enjoyed that one. Then you had what? I can't remember. For Your Eyes Only, I do like. Moonraker was goofy. It's kind of fun. It was kind of like Star Wars. But like Octopussy, I never liked. I like Pussy, but not Octopussy. And I don't. It might have made money, but it wasn't as. It never really felt. It seemed like it was as beloved, and it doesn't deserve to be, in my opinion. So I don't know if that really. It didn't bomb. I don't know if that really got people like, oh, okay, cool. A View to a Kill, same thing. And honestly, the only thing people kept talking about was that Roger Moore was too old. Then Timothy Dalton got The Living Daylights and License to Kill. Both films I liked, but I don't know if they were Dane Busters box office wise. They must have made money because they still, continue, but Dane Busters of yesteryear, I don't know. And License to Kill got buried because it was one of the craziest movie summers ever. I mean, you had Lethal Weapon 2, you had Ghostbusters 2, you had Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, you had Batman, you had Back to the Future Part 2, you had so many films that year, that summer, that was insane. And then, because of some other stuff going on, some shenanigans, and License to Kill wasn't a blockbuster, sadly, Timothy Dalton never got to play. I think there was other attributes as well as to why that was the case. And then again, sadly, Timothy Dalton only had 2 films, and years went by, and then you had GoldenEye. And that sparked 3 more films. There was a bit of a break, then you had Casino Royale, and that sparked a number of films. I know they'll bring James Bond back again. I don't... People may ask, well, who you want to play Bond? I don't know. I really don't know at this point. But it doesn't matter what I think, because they'll do it anyway, and we'll see how it goes. But either way, my thoughts, Casino Royale I do like, but I do prefer GoldenEye. I like the pacing of it better. I think it goes a bit faster. If it technically doesn't have more action, it feels like it has more action. It has more of that classic fun Bond feel to it, with the humor, the dialogue. And for the reasons I said, so. Thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.